You Changed Too by Madness on the Milano. Chapter 6, 1975. You sure you don't need a hand? Course not, Smokey. I'm all fixed up. His crew chief roamed his watchful eyes over the stairs leading up to the building. Anyway, it's not going to give a good impression if I'm leaning on you, is it? Paul, the last time Dallas saw you, you were in the hospital talking to the light bulbs in the ceiling with plaster all the way up to your... Yes, okay. The stairs were maybe a little tougher. Maybe. But a far cry from the doctor's original prognosis of a lifetime paralysis. I just want to know why we haven't heard anything from him. Smokey stopped at the top. His eyes were unreadable, their bronze hue warm as they looked at him. Heard. I'm not so sure that's a good thing. What do you mean? Well, Paul! Paul! Paul had to laugh at the sight of his sponsor's polar opposite son, banging frantically on the glass. Hey, Dex! You're back from the dead! You're back from the dead! His smile died a little. Tex didn't know just how right he was. Smokey's hand gripped his shoulder, and he let himself give his crew chief a look that he hoped conveyed gratitude. Guess that makes you the necromancer. Smokey patted the back of his head, and duly stepped back as Tex flew out, having finally remembered which way the door opened. Easy there, boy, he warned as Tex grabbed Paul in a hug so tight that things started clicking. Easy? All I've done this year is take things easy. Now you're finally here and things can get fun again. It's so good to see you. Easy? All I've done this year is take things easy. Now you're finally here and things can get fun again. It's so good to see you. I can't believe you're walking. Get in here. Dad is going to be thrilled. Dallas Steinecker was not a man to be thrilled. Paul fully believed that he didn't even crack a smile when Tex was born. He could show surprise, though, and he showed it when Paul walked easily into his office on the leg everyone thought would be amputated. He leaned back in his desk chair, fingertips firmly placed together. Wow, now, look at this. I can't believe my eyes. I sent you letters, Smokey said, his hands coming back up to Paul's shoulders. Doctor's notes. Everything to show you the progress Paul's made. He shrugged, when his eyes never left those of Dallas's. Was starting to think you had forgotten him. I couldn't forget Paul. Dallas paused. He never hesitated. That would require him being certain of himself. And the one trait he shared with Tex was the confidence. There's this young rookie. Strip his name is. Strip Weathers. I'd like for you to meet him. Tex, would you find him? Why? Smokey's voice was full of suspicion. A new trait he had gained since Paul's wreck. Nothing could be trusted to protect his racer anymore, and he acted like it. Smokey, it doesn't matter. He's a rookie. You were a rookie once, Smokey muttered. The door opened, and Paul turned to see Tex with a kid. He had to be in his very early 20s, combed dark hair, and eyes the colour of an apple seed. I take it you're Strip. I saw your crash. By the way, his eyes immediately darted away from Paul's. It was obvious he hadn't meant to say that. Just nerves. Sorry. I'm glad you're okay. Thanks. Strip is a demon on the track, if you can believe it. One of those prodigies. Like you used to be. That smarted, and Paul felt Smokey change his stance like a bull about to charge. I'm still one of those prodigies. I've been training and my times and turns are... We're cutting you loose. Tex, his face turned pale. What? Paul's breath stilled in his lungs. But you're my sponsor. So long as you bring in revenue. Yeah. Problem is, you haven't made us a dime in a year. It's a problem. Dad, he was crushed half to death in his race car. Tex slammed his fist on his father's desk, eyes burning with rage. I can't believe you're being so cold. Paul's part of the family. So's the dog, but I'll still euthanize it if it suffers. Tex spluttered. That could not be more different. Oh, Tex. Danico is a business. I can't keep crippled erasers on my payroll. I'm not crippled. Paul couldn't recognize his own voice. He looked at Dallas, into eyes like molten silver. This had to be a joke, right? Dallas treated him like one of his own kids. I can walk. I can run. I can race. I can race, Dallas. I'll prove it to you. It's just taken a while longer than it should. Taken a while longer than it should? Tex's face was full of confusion as he looked between Paul and Dallas. Paul, I don't know if you quite remember the crash after your leg hanging on by a thread, but that's a goddamn catastrophe of an injury. I wasn't the one who crashed, Dallas said pointedly. Was I now, Paul? Smokey's voice was like the soft tremble of thunder before a storm hits. You are not going to blame Paul for the accident. Accidents? Dallas reached for a pen, thumbing its lid off so the golden nib flashed in the weak sunlight. What causes accidents? Being careless. I'm still just as good. I swear to you, I am. Smokey, tell them. Paul? Enough. Dallas pointed the pen at him like a miniature sword, deep indigo ink trembling on its end. You're 25. Ordinarily, you might have had another 20, even 25 years left. But because of the injuries you took, we can easily have that, if we're lucky. Then you have Strip, the rookie. The rookie he was being replaced with. He's 21. Faster speeds, keener instincts. He'll be racing for much longer time than you would be. This couldn't be happening. It was worse than a nightmare. Don't do this to me, Dallas. Please, this is my life. You inspired Strip. And you probably inspire other racers too. But that's it, Paul. Your history. His legs buckled, the bad one, and he braced it against the desk, his hand close to Tex's. Boys don't cry. His father's voice whispered in his mind. Men do, Smokey's retorted. He could feel Smokey's hands on his back, the silent support of anger from his, well, not crew chief anymore. He'd never race again. Breathing out deeply, he felt grating in his vocal cords, and stood, keeping his back straight, like the words didn't matter. Salt burned in his eyes, but he wouldn't give Dallas the full satisfaction of seeing him in pieces. Dallas used the pen to scribble out something on a slip of paper and pushed it towards him. Here. I knew those medical bills would be a bitch. I don't need anything else from you. The last thing he saw of Dallas was a high-browed shrug as he turned to the rookie. I hope this sticks in your mind, rookie. One day you'll wreck, and this is going to be what they tell you. Enjoy my career. Long a road ahead in recovery for retired piston cub racer. Doc rubs the back of his neck. It's like the gift of prophecy, 30 years on. Smokey had said to him at the time that it wasn't the rookie's fault, and then made him cash the check he'd snatched from Dallas's desk. He folds the newspaper and wonders if it's ever too late to apologize. God, he resents what a hothead he had been. It's just lucky that Strip isn't facing exactly the same injuries. He looks around at the people who, just like Mater said, only cared for who he is now, or not who he was before, and feels the weight of it lift. Strip has Tex, has his wife, has the glittering memories of his long career. He'll be okay. Would he really want to be his harbinger of doom turning up? That's something Doc can't quite answer for himself just yet. Does nobody wake up at a decent time around here? Sarge is holding a thin paper cup, filled to the edges with black coffee that Doc can smell from 3 tables away. It's 1000 hours, and the only ones here are us. You'd only complain if it was busy here. Flo points out to him. She wrinkles her nose. How can you drink that? I'm getting all hopped up just by the smell. This stuff is what puts a spring in my step every morning, Flo. I'll bet, she says, and she smiles when Ramon strolls in with a single red rose. Ah, baby. She reaches into her purse and brings out one wrapped in cellophane. I did the same thing. Mater watches them with a little softness in his eyes. You think McQueen and Sally are going to be like that? Honestly, he sees them being a mix between Sarge, who is currently staring at Fillmore's herbal tea like it's full of crack, and the couple sharing their roses, giggling at each other. But instead of saying it, he shrugs. Who knows? They like each other, and that's got to count for something. For his part, he can still feel Lightning's hands on the back of his shirt, clinging to him like he'd never let go. He does not want to have the tricky conversation, but he wants to keep a secret even less than that. Just like he can still hear Mac's story of the father who didn't want to hurt his son, but ending up sending him to places that did. At least the guy did it with the best intentions. What defense did Doc have? Hey, what time are you gonna wake up? Snapping out of his thoughts, Doc's eyes turn to Mater, whose cell is pressed against his ear. He shakes his head at the line of sleepy explanatives from the phone. Someone is not a morning person. Even so, he has to hide a laugh at some of the more creative words. Don't mind his language or I'm coming over there to wash his mouth out with soap. Flo's head jerks, but she sees a smile on his face and shakes her head with a laugh. Fine by me, old man. They provide mouthwash here. Doc has to laugh. The sheer confidence. This is the way he's meant to be. Get down here, you little punk. Daylight's wasting and you need to eat. Oh, God. Lightning despairs in such a dramatic fashion, the dog wonders why he didn't get into acting. Do I have to? It's so comfy here. You've been sleeping for all the night. Can't you please come down here? As usual, the best friend gets through where Dog can't. Lightning mumbles an agreement, hangs up and then sends a text asking where they were. Why doesn't he listen to me? He did yesterday, Mater cheerily reminded him, and he grabs the menu to read it. What's a frittata? I don't know. Something with eggs, I think. It's like a healthy omelette. Flo calls over, eyes on her own menu. Ugh. Lightning comes in 10 minutes later, hair still damp from showering. He has that slightly dazed smile on his face, like he can't believe that they're all here. He orders pancakes and says they're good, but no one else does them like Flo does, which makes her smile. He then stretches out, arms high above his head. I wonder how Rusty and Dusty are feeling. Like death, probably. Sheriff's eyes don't leave the crossword puzzle on the newspaper, pen tapping furiously on the wooden table. They drank like fish last night. Oh, yeah. Lightning chuckles. At one point they ran out of beer in the restaurant. Beer. Ah, yes. Doc can sense Fillmore's head turning and raises his eyes from his empty plate to look at Lightning. Did you buy any of his beer? No. Yeah, you did, man. Give it back to him. He'll refund you. At the look he gets, he lets his gaze harden. You're not 21. Okay, it's in my luggage somewhere. Maybe now would be a good time to have the talk he didn't want to have. Come on, let's go get it. He's unsurprised to see by the way Lightning's shoulders slump. He clearly never planned on returning it at all. The room is vast. Hardwood. The colour of an apple seed spreads over the floor and everything about it. From the jade green wall the queen-size bed is against, to the flat screen opposite a smooth leather couch, speaks of polished, successful and elegant people. It doesn't suit Lightning. He is successful, without a doubt, but he's also young and willful, and is probably going to get into scraps with Mater about near constantly once they get to Arizona. The room is just too big, and he can still remember how little the racer felt in his arms last night. Lightning isn't all that affected by it. He pulls on the suitcase lid, and it reveals a jumble of tangled jeans and crumpled t-shirts. I'm not much of a packer. It's enough to give him a headache, so he looks away. Sarge actually taught him to pack on the impromptu trip out here. Maybe he'll teach Lightning. Who is? Lightning finds the case, the wide-necked bottles clinking together. One is missing, but it's too late to worry about that, and not worth questioning over it. He reluctantly slides it over and huffs outward, his hair fanning in the breeze he's provided. Happy now? I'd be happier if he asked you for ID, but it doesn't matter now. Oh, damn. He really doesn't want to do this. You mind sitting down for a sec, kid? Lightning stands up from the suitcase, getting the lid to slam back down noiselessly. Finally gonna tell me why you really came back? Trust Lightning to put it so bluntly. Yeah. He waits for the kid to get settled on the couch, absently grabbing one of the decorative pillows, his fingers tracing the gleaming metallic shades along with the pastel green velvet. I came to help you. You weren't found in Radiator Springs by accident. What do you mean? Lightning's eyes, like the ocean in the far distance, are confused, but his tone suggests that he knows exactly what Doc is about to tell them. I called them. He shakes his head. No, you didn't. Oh God, whoever said honesty is the best policy was a liar themselves. I'm sorry. It's true. Why? His eyes turn cold, like the sea before a storm. He is cold, almost frigid. Before Doc can try and explain, he continues, It really screwed me up. I could have gone, like you thought I would. I stayed because when the road finally got finished, it kinda hit how bad I was gonna miss them all. I couldn't even say goodbye to anybody. Is that why? You really thought I didn't care about them? I really didn't know. He steps nearer, keeping distance when Lightning recoils. I thought you were just making a point. What fucking point? The rage echoes in the huge room, his knuckles turning white on the little pillow. Doc's never seen him this kind of anger before. It runs deeper than kicking up a fuss, and a smidge more serious when he throws the pillow at Doc's head, searching for another one when it gets caught before reaching its target. When you first came to town, you thought everyone was lower than the dirt we stood on, Doc snaps, holding the pillow so Lightning can't reuse it. You didn't make it easy on anyone, did you? Lightning's head turned. I know! You made me see it, but I was trying to be better. I guess it just wasn't enough for you. He ducks his head, and despite his tense shoulders, Doc's suspicion that it's more about shame than defeat is proven right. I'm sorry I threw that thing at you. He knows Lightning never meant harm. There's 3 paperweights on the table which went ignored while he was seeking out softer projectiles. He still leaves the pillow on the floor as he takes a little step forward. Look at me. Please. It's with obvious reluctance, but he does look up, though he rubs his eyes so hard that Doc flinches. He goes to him, sitting beside him, a knot tightening in his chest. When he sees glistening trails from those cerulean eyes. You're a good kid. No, I'm not. You sent me away. The next time he's stupid enough to think about doing the right thing, he is remembering this exact moment. If this is where honesty gets him, he's not so sure it is a good thing. That wasn't because of you. Lightning turns his head, eyes full of belief. Eyes full of disbelief. Oh, sure it wasn't. It wasn't. Doc tentatively puts his hand on Lightning's shoulder, testing the waters. It's not shrugged off, so he keeps it there. I meant it yesterday. I'm so proud of you. Look, the reason I called them was because you and the 95 reminded me of the wreck and its aftermath. The way people acted like nothing mattered if it wasn't them affected. Lightning sniffs. Thanks, Doc. Perhaps it wasn't the best way to start it off. But yesterday, you reminded millions of people that racing isn't about running over your competition. It's about respecting your competitors. And that, like any other sport, it requires sportsmanship. I didn't mean to. It just wasn't right to leave him like that. See? You didn't do it for yourself. You did it for Weathers. I didn't just do it for him, Lightning murmurs. I remembered that picture you have in your garage. The king told me what happened. He curls his hands around each other. I didn't know Dinoco sponsored you. That strip of Weathers has a lot to answer for. Doc feels the light tremors under his touch. He keeps an expression like stone as the rookie turns those eyes to him. That was a long time ago, he says, not missing the way Lightning edges just a little nearer. What did Weathers tell you? He said he took your place and felt badly about it. Oh, for God's sake. With Lightning's grief and Weathers' misplaced guilt, Doc has to wonder what other emotions are going to be thrown at him. That wasn't his fault. Tex Dinoco's father, Dallas, was the man to pull my plug, not Weathers. It wasn't Tex's doing either, before you go and think that. He was one of my best friends back then. He can still hear Tex raging at his father, fighting with all he had against the impenetrable hard shell around Dallas's heart. It doesn't matter anyway. It was a long time ago. Was it why you called the press? He feels air leave his lungs in a shallow imitation of a laugh. How astute of this kid. I guess it does matter, then. Dallas must have screwed you up too. Lightning goes to knuckle his eyes, and Doc can't let it happen, so he brushes the tears away before Lightning can. It takes him by surprise, but there's a little smile. I wish you hadn't called anyone. I do too. I'm sorry. Lightning looks at the 3 paperweights with their abstract, vibrantly coloured centres. I know I didn't treat people right before. You guys, Mac, my own sponsors. It sounds kind of stupid, but I just didn't know what I had, really. It's a little hard to recognise. He glances from the corner of his eyes, then his body tenses up for a minute. Hard to explain. You do now, don't you? I'm sorry. It's quiet, but determination makes anything but unnoticeable. It won't matter much, but I am sorry for how I was, and for throwing the pillow at your head. Like I said, you've come such a long way. His hand moves by itself, smoothing over hair so thick the skull can't be felt. You showed everyone who you really are. Even you? Especially me. Lightning hesitates, which let Doc know his next question is going to be a big one. Finally, he drops it, wrapping his fingers so tightly around each other that Doc's amazed they don't snap. Why did you really come here? I didn't want you to get hurt out there, 'cause the pain of leaving distracted you. It seemed to send electricity through him. He takes his eyes from the decor, locking them onto Doc's. You really cared that much? Thinking of how it jabs his heart to see tears in those eyes, and how he almost looking forward to the multitude of ways this kid will be a pain in the neck, Doc allows himself to be honest. I care that much. Yeah, I love him, but I didn't come all this way for Mater. You came for me. Of course I came for you. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this one. It's just nice. God, those two needed to hash that out. And, you guys know how I am about father-son dynamics. This is if Peter Parker was more cocky and Tony Stark was more grumpy. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.